Alright, in this video we're going to start going over the basics of the movement action when a formation has been activated. So let's say our Russian units here have been activated and this T-80 tank wants to be moved. Remember, we went over it briefly before, but a unit's movement points are going to be located at the very bottom center of the counter, so we can see that this T-80 here has 6 movement points to spend when it's activated. Now, a key thing you're going to need when you start doing your movement actions is your terrain effects chart. It's going to tell you all the different types of terrain and how many movement points it costs for the different types of units to move through them. I have an example on screen of a section of the terrain effects chart for you now that shows the pictures and then the movement point cost for the different types of ground units, whether they're troops or vehicles. For our T-80 here, we would obviously use the ground vehicles column. So understanding that the T-80 has 6 movement points to spend, and looking at our terrain effects chart, we can see if he wants to move into clear terrain like this, it'll cost him 1 movement point, but if he wants to move into this cultivated terrain, that'll cost him 2 movement points. You would continue moving on like that until the unit had spent all the movement points it wanted to, or up to its limit, and then you would mark the unit with a ops complete marker. Couple things you want to keep in mind is if there is a road or a trail like we have going here, if they're following along with the road, they start on it and they continue with all of their movement along it, then they get to spend just 1 movement point per hex, ignoring the movement point cost naturally of the terrain. Normally, a vehicle moving through city hexes like these would cost more than 1 movement point, but if they followed along the road, it would just cost them 1 as they move through the city. Also, hills can change the movement point cost, but it depends on whether you're going up or down. Hills are designated by this little white curvy line you can see here. So this is a large hill, and if this T-80 wanted to go up the hill, it would pay the movement point cost of whatever terrain that it's moving into plus 1 for going uphill when it crosses this white curvy line. However, if it's going downhill, it does not have to pay an extra movement point penalty. It will just pay the movement point cost of whatever hex it's moving into.